Better late than never. We are live. It's RGR Football Monday night, super late. Welcome to RGR in the dark or after dark, whatever we're supposed to call it.
After dark works.
Long travel day for me. I got home really late, and kudos to Dan for staying up late. Hope you guys are going to enjoy this. If you're watching on replay, don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything. I was late to. Hey, if you missed the community post, that's where I usually put it if something goes wrong. But how are you, Mr. Harms? Looks like you're in bright and cheery there.
Yeah, it's about 11 p.m. now because I am Eastern time. I'm no longer Central time with you guys. So when we do these, it will be even later for me than usual. And since everyone is sleeping, I will do my best to try to keep my voice down. So if you guys get me on a rant, y'all come in here and get me all ranting on camp stuff, and I wake somebody up, it's your fault.
Well, we can blame me. See, I didn't even get my lights turned on. I'm in such a rush. So hope you guys are doing well. We'll get that sorted out. And maybe I'll just do another Q&A or another live stream tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes because I owe you guys for this one. So I think what I really want to get to is just the fact that nothing has really gone the way that I expected it to go with this rookie class so far. We're going to talk about them. We're going to answer your questions. For those of you that are up late, you night owls are going to get your answers here to your questions. We appreciate you guys being with us, Nick and Daryl and Gary. Hope you're doing well, pal. And thank you guys for being patient. My question to you, if you had to pick one rookie right now that's standing out to you, good, bad, or otherwise, who is it? And I'll get myself prepared here.
We all know who it is, guys. It's the one that I said if he was on the very first day of training camp with pads, if he came out and he played well, and then he came back the next day and he was doing just fine, he was going to start at left tackle day one. That is Josh Simmons. I put it on Twitter yesterday. The Chiefs really got themselves a franchise left tackle at pick 32. They were able to trade back and do that. Well, yes, there's a little hyperbole there because we don't know what he's going to look like. But, that's funny, Donald. When I got down here, little sidebar, my parents-in-law have this vacuum mop thing, and apparently they have it set to go off at night. And I was coming down the stairs, and it was making the loudest nonsense I have ever heard from anything remote like this. And I'm like, this is not going to happen while I'm streaming. So I had to shut it off and tell it to go back home. And then it has to empty, clean the mopping pads. Like, incomplete nonsense. So it was actually cleaning the floor when I came downstairs. But sidebar over. Josh Simmons is clearly doing everything that he was doing when he was healthy at Ohio State. And it's obvious. Obviously there's going to be some different things with the mental side and getting all of those understanding the different calls and the protections and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with the way he plays. He's still doing exactly what I expected him to do if he were fully healthy. And this comes down to, why are the Chiefs the only guys that trust their medical staff on with these types of players? They did it with Trey Smith. He was a 6th-round pick. They did it with Josh Simmons. They kind of had to because nothing else worked out. And yes, I understand, guys. I was wrong about Kingsley Suamate being the future left tackle. You know what? It happens. I'm not that worried about it, especially considering he's probably going to be your starter at left guard for a long time. I'm okay with that mess. And so Josh Simmons comes in, and he's doing everything. Again, like the physicalness. There's a clip that Ryan's going to show you guys here on Twitter from one of our friend of the show who works over at Does Some Posts for Arrowhead Addict, Live Guyverson. And
Lyle.
Oh, Lyle, yeah, man. It's just doing what Josh Simmons does, man. Like he's physical. He's gonna outwork most people. And the fact that when you hear Matt Nagy talking about how every time he does something wrong, he wants to get back out there and do it again, and he just loves it. He can't get enough of it. That's all you want to hear.
Honestly, it does it. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my monitor, but I am going, if I haven't shared here yet, I'm going to try this again because, this is what happens when you get started a little late and I'm, having some issues. Let me do this real quick because I do want you to like break it down. And kudos to Lau. Lau was out at practice. If you don't know Lau, he's over at Arrowhead Active. Been there a long time. Worked together back in the day, and I really appreciate him for that. He must have been at camp and captured something. So I'm going to bring that up now, and I think this should do it. And just run it through. I mean, we'll just let it play a couple of times. my ear, but not in everybody's as I try to fix my monitor.
Oh man. So I mean the big thing here again, I think you can tell right off the bat. I actually appreciate Ashton Gelati getting off the ball. But hey, look at that. Make Mahomes great
There we
again.
go.
Getting off the ball low, it's not like super stand up. He tries to get off, but he tries to go speed to power on Josh Simmons, and it doesn't work out very well. He stonewalls him. He gives himself that anchor, right? You see him absorb the power, and at the very end of it, he just takes Ashton Gelati and throws him to the ground. That is the kind of nature that he plays with in the pass game and the run game. So what we get to see in one-on-ones, yes, they're one-on-ones, and it's against a rookie who I would say that Josh Simmons clears him a ton in terms of talent and physical and everything with the arm length and the anchor, but this is what he's been doing in camp. This is day 2, guys. I can't wait to see what he's going to do against other NFL players when it comes to the preseason and getting to the regular season, because this is a different level of talent than what we saw from Kingsley Suamataia. It was more about the upside with Kingsley. This is fundamentals. It's the hand usage, the anchor. All of that is way better than Kingsley was coming out. So we see a more finished product at tackle than we get from Kingsley last year. So you get the best of both worlds, right? Where Kingsley gets kicked in at guard now. He basically has that job. And at least right now, again, this is camp. So let's just remember there's a little bit of caveat to everything, but we get to see that. So Josh Simmons coming in and playing great in camp and doing exactly what you want with that demeanor is everything you could really hope for. And maybe Ryan will join us back if he gets his things all figured out. And Donald, yeah, I got a haircut not too long ago. Ryan's muted at the time right now, but you know, we got multiple things. There we go. It looks that way. You're muted still because I just kind of went like this with my hair a little bit at the end. It's all short, but yeah, clean cut a little bit.
You got to have that sometimes. I
Just a little
think I did a good job, by the way, of explaining what's going on there. And I know a lot of people are going to take the opportunity now to say that my guy Ashton's getting his butt beat, whatever, by the draft pick. Well, a first round pick. And I had Ashton as a third round pick. The Chiefs took him early, and kudos to them. He does have developmental talent. Taking him on power for power is probably not the best maneuver. I think people are giving Ashton some kudos the last couple of days with his finesse, his ability to be quick into pass, his hands in particular, much of the things that we saw on film, and I think it will translate eventually. But you look like you don't want to hear that.
No, it's I'm. You guys know how I felt about the pick, right? We'll see how it works. The fact that they will be moving guys around a lot, and it feels apparently like Mike Dana might play more inside, which I watched some of his camp reps. Please no. It's a I feel like it's a crowded room and that there's not much upside there. So we'll see. We'll just see.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I think the one thing that they're doing, and I know that there's some questions about what else they will do, is moving that defensive line around is absolutely what they have to have in order to get where they need to go, right? So back to the big topic at hand, of course, because now that I have my monitor back, my
Yeah.
mouse isn't working because nothing, not two
Why not?
things on one system should work at one time because that's the way my life goes. Um, I think the big thing to remember is that Josh Simmons is well ahead of schedule. When you trust, as you said, your medical staff, it allows you to take those risks knowing that there's going to be more chance of a payoff eventually. And I still am a little bit surprised that it is paying off so easily so early. I mean, basically, he didn't miss a beat. Like from a guy that got hurt in October to be ready to be in camp now in July and functional is pretty damn remarkable. I won't say that it's unheard of, but it is very, very small percentage of players that can make this kind of comeback this fast. Now, there's a word of caution, too, because a lot of people are ready to anoint him as the starter, and I feel like he is as well. But anything could change any day. The camp is a grind. We've had 2 days of pads. That's not the end all be all. Got to get through at least a first contest and then see what the overall rep count gets to and how it affects him. So let's not paste him in there 100% yet. It looks really good, but there is a small possibility that maybe you have to step down some of his reps or whatever and just take it a little bit easier. And if that happens, I still think this is an epic win for this organization right now to be in this position to even have this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we really need to see is the long drives. They haven't gotten to the 2 hours and 25-minute practices yet. They're still, again, like Brian said, two days in pads. They're going to ramp up to get to those 2.5 hours of practice, which is what you need to see. Again, after that day, after you get a couple long drives under your belt, how is the knee doing? How sore is it? Can you move on it? The fact that we've had some updates, right? And he's not been talked about in terms of injury or fatigued. That's huge. That, again, that tells you he did the work. He's done the rehab. I'm so curious about how 32 teams did this, their medical staffs, and they said, no, don't draft him. No one drafted him. That's the hard part for me, is that I understand the Chiefs might have been, and we talked about this, you guys, a lot. Like maybe they backed themselves into a corner where they were the only team that really could because they didn't have to play him year one. But if this is what we're seeing, why didn't he get drafted at 10 or 11 by the 49ers? The 49ers should have drafted him at 11. So the simple fact that we are in this situation where the Chiefs have a chance to actually have Josh Simmons, who, again, I would have drafted in the top 15 last year. That's how good I think Josh Simmons was. We're talking about last year in a really good tackle class. He was 1, 2, or 3. He could have been any number of those, any one of those players. So this is a huge win already, even if the return isn't necessarily maybe a top 5 tackle in the NFL point. But we're looking at a guy who could be a top 5 tackle at some point in his career. At best, a top 5 tackle. At worst, I think we're talking about a top 10-ish type of tackle, even like top 7 left tackle. I think this is going to be somebody that when he gets everything under his belt, when the mental stuff starts going through, when he gets more actual real reps in week 2, 3, or 4, we're going to start to see it all come together.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, this is such a solidification of what the plan has to be. You can't go wrong at this point, no matter what the outcome is. And I know a lot of people are going to start on, well, they screwed it up with Kingsley. You were wrong, et cetera, et cetera. And that's fine. We don't know. And I'm starting to wonder if maybe this was the plan all along. Hey, we're going to throw him and we'll see what he does at left tackle. But eventually, we're going to move him inside because we think maybe that's his future. That could be true. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it is a possibility.
Sure.
One way or the other, you're going to have high-end draft picks in there at center, at left guard, at left tackle, and you're trying to figure out what's going on the other side. Interesting thing to me, and I talked to Matt really briefly, is that when Jawaan Taylor got back on the field, he went right in with the ones. So the more interesting question to me at this point is Jalen Moore is your swing, it appears. And maybe that's just deference to a veteran. I don't know. We're going to find out as the next couple of days go on. But if Jalen Moore ends up being the swing tackle, how do you feel about the cost per investment in these tackles? Being you're paying the Jawaan Taylor like elite money nearly. You're paying Jalen Moore middle of the road money, I would call it, and then you have a rookie contract. In the end, your top 3 tackles that you have to expect have to play, that actually balances out decently.
Yeah, I don't care about money. I'll be very honest with you guys.
Okay.
I don't care about the money invested in tackles as long as you can figure it out. If you're going to put yourself in a position to where right now you have 3 players that you feel comfortable playing tackle, you should be smiling. You should be happy. You'd be thanking anybody, because last year you had 1 tackle and he could barely play. Jawaan Taylor was a fine tackle, and in the postseason he got exposed by multiple different pass rushers, and he was not a very good run blocker. So at this point, if you're switching out Jawaan Taylor and Jalen Moore and you feel really good about both of these players, you're going into week 1 of the preseason very comfortable with the position that you're in, which is something the Chiefs haven't been in. They haven't been in a comfortable tackle position in years. Again, this is going back to Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. The last time that they were, and this has come up a bunch of times. I've been asked this. No. Do
I
not make
wouldn't.
yourself worse. You
Right.
I don't care where Jawan Taylor is right now. He's a certifiable starting level right tackle. I know that he isn't an elite player. He's not a bottom of the barrel guy either, but he is a starting right tackle in the league for multiple different teams. You don't trade comfort just because you have somebody else. Right now, the Chiefs need backup ability. They have to be able to withstand injury. So I don't
Agreed.
care that you have Jawan Taylor, that you have Jalen Moore. You need him on the roster. You need both of them on the roster. And again, I don't care who's starting. I don't care about the money. If Jawan Taylor ends up having a couple bad games, Jalen Moore comes in and he's good. Guess what? Now you have a backup in case injury. This is all has to be in the plan.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Think of it as no matter what goes on, these three tackles are now a starting pair and a backup. You have a safety net. You're not going to be in another position like you were in the Super Bowl where both your tackles are getting beat and you don't have an answer because you don't have anyone behind them that you can maybe think can come in and patch the leak. That's the problem. Because and I'll read them off here. If you were to trade Juwan Taylor and Moore's your starter, and either he or Jeff Simmons gets hurt, here are your backup options. Wanya Morris, been there, done that. Don't need to see that again. Ethan Driscoll, we have absolutely no idea if he's ready to play in the NFL. Isapole, don't have any idea at all if he's ready to play in the NFL. Chu Godric, we know after years and years and years on the practice squad, he is not ready.
He's
Kudos
playing
to
guard.
him. Is he getting reps at guard?
He's been taking
Even
snaps at guard.
even more so, it leaves you with zero safety net at tackle again, and then you're right back in the position that you were. So no, yes, you might be able to get somebody, especially if you ate some of the salary for Jordan Taylor. You might get somebody to give you a day 3 pick that maybe you think's worth it if it were any
Yeah.
other year. But right now, he'd be the best swing tackle in the league, to be honest. And Moore might be right up there with him. I completely
Yep.
agree with
I'm
you.
with you.
You can't do that. Do not make yourself weaker when you finally have worked through and hit gold, it looks like, in Simmons, if it continues to work out that way. Minotaur, thank you, buddy. And if you guys would hit the like and do the things and check out Dan on Bleacher Report, check me out on Locked on Chiefs. We're doing all the things. We've had a really crazy summer. Dan, as you can see, is still not at home yet. Still working on that, and we're working through it. By the time we get out of training camp, we'll be ready to roll for the season, so don't you worry. A little bit of McDuffie in the nickel is what Minotaur asks. Is he's about to hit 4 years in our memberships and giving a ton of them away to other members. Appreciate you, Minotaur. I don't have any problem with McDuffie going into the nickel when Fulton's back. I see no reason for him to be there now. Without Fulton out there, I don't think there's a better option to have two outsides than when you have Trent McDuffie out there. You prefer him out there full time. I prefer him tracking the number one receiver from the other team, no matter where they line him up. I don't care if it's the inside or outside. It doesn't matter to me. I want to take that aspect away. So the big question becomes, why is Shamari Connor getting more run than Jaden Hicks? That's what's baffling here, because that's part of the puzzle in at nickel that is unlocking right now that doesn't track for me.
I mean, honestly, in terms of big nickel, I have no problems putting Jamari Connor there. I got no problem. But I still see him on Rashee Rice in practice, and
Yep.
he's getting dusted. He's getting dusted. There's got to be something else here. And I know that you're putting the guy that is comfortable with you and the one you want to get better. This isn't a wish casting session, guys. We can't wish it into existence. Jamari Connor isn't going to all of a sudden be able to guard receivers in the league. He's just not going to be able to do it. They have to find a different way. And CRW made a good play today in camp. And yes, I know it was a on tight end, I believe, but regardless, he made a good recovery to be able to knock that ball down. And everyone's like, "Oh, that was a bad pass." No, he was trying to float it over the guy. He was literally trying to float it over, and he was able to recover and make that play. So the fact that we're sitting here talking about Shamari Connor getting too much run in the nickel when CRW is a vastly better player in that regard, it makes no sense to me. But also, I agree with you with the Trent McDuffie following the best player. If he's in the nickel, if he's in the slot, fine. Put him in the nickel. That's fine. I just want to see him the majority of the time on the outside, because that's where he's going to get paid and where he deserves to play. He has earned that right from everything he's done for this team. They've just put themselves into a bit of a pickle by not actually drafting another nickel to be able to give you something that's not Shamari Connor.
I agree. And this is all a work in progress as well. I think on the defensive side, and the things that we're talking about right now are way more volatile and possible to change than the offensive side is, to
Yeah.
my personal thinking. So I expect that specifically after the first preseason game, you see how everybody is under fire. And I don't think you're going to learn a lot from Shamari's game because you've seen him in action. But I do think there could be a switch there. Then maybe we see how the rest are going. The guy that's really interesting to me, and I'm going to do a rookie rundown tomorrow night with you guys. I think everyone kind of chuckled at us when we told you the couple of weeks after the draft, Noel could walk in here and push for a starting role, at least the fourth corner. And it seems like something happened. I don't know where it was, if it was still in OTAs or he just got to step back in the gap time to take in more. But everyone that I've talked to that's seen it live says that he understands where to be physically better than he did a month ago. And that's making a difference.
You know, it's interesting. It's crazy when you get guys that have just raw natural talent and you get them with DB coaches and Spags and Dave Merritt who know the game inside and out and know how to fit their players that they have to the system that they want and communicate properly. That's one thing we've seen with Dave Merritt from the entire time. It's been Jalen Watson. It's been Josh Simmons. Even Najee Johnson to an extent. I think he was in good position a lot, but he just didn't have the natural talent to locate the football. That's one thing you're never going to have to worry about with Mo Williams. That dude knows where the football is. And you heard Trent McDuffie talking about it today. He's like, that dude just knows where the football is. Like, you can't teach that. That is an intangible among corners to be able to have a feel for the football. So even if he's not a starter right now, he is going to be rotated into this defense no matter what. You want players like that on the field. There is a reason he was drafted. And again, why I had such a higher grade on him. I believe I still had a high third round grade on him in regards to him in the draft, but probably had a second round grade in terms of Chiefs fit. Like, that's how good I thought he could be in this defense. So the fact that he's putting it together on top of the natural instincts he already has is so exciting. And I cannot wait to watch him in the preseason.
I'm pretty excited about it as well. And I haven't had a chance to see him live after this trip. Looks like things may be changing. I'm not sure I'm going to make it after the first preseason game. So we'll have to see how the rest of camp goes, but we'll figure it out. And he is on maybe the top of my list right now. And I have to see a couple of things, and I'll probably be spending some time on the sled down when the D line gets warmed up, because there's some things I need to see there, evidently. Very much so in terms of leverage technique, et cetera, et cetera. I'm really intrigued by it. Y'all are at least are you at the least bit worried about Simmons starting so soon after the major injury? Quinn, I just wanted to go back to you here because I missed a couple of questions about the whole Simmons thing. I can't say that I'm worried because he's been signed off on by everybody in Kansas City that means anything medically, or else he would not be out there. Am I surprised? I actually am. I was ready to the point of even getting to the point where make this a redshirt year for him if he needed it. Clearly, he doesn't need it now. We'll see if he can make it all the way through camp without having to take some days off. And even if they give him a day off here or there, just because the volume is so much. I mean, he's taken, unless something happened that I missed today and he didn't take every left tackle snap, he's been the guy the entire time at this point. So volume becomes an issue.
That's all you're worrying about. Like, I'm not that worried because the Chiefs, again, they trust their process and the player. When the player's doing the work, when he's going through the rehab, when he's excelling in the rehab, he's getting on the field and you're seeing zero ill effects, I feel far more comfortable with that. And again, they know more about this whole thing than I do. And I can't begin to tell you anything about real injuries unless I've gone through them myself. And I haven't gone through anything close to a patella injury, so I don't know. But I can tell you right now that he looks good. He looks comfortable. He doesn't look like he's second guessing it. That's another thing too. When you get into the preseason games, when you get into some of these reps, if he starts to look like he's second guessing it, okay, maybe we can talk about it. But if not, he's already confident in that knee, which is the biggest part of getting over the hump in your first year back from the injury.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you're almost short circuiting the whole process that we normally see guys go through. And again, this is clarity on what is an injury that clearly is not what it was reported initially, which was that it was an ACL tear, which it was not. It was a patellar tendon. From my understanding, it was not a complete one. This seems to corroborate that
Yeah.
information. I don't have that on any actual authority from inside the organization, but this is leading down that path. And the ACL recovery is different, but man, usually it's year 2 before we feel like that confidence is there. If he's there now, that's a night and day difference in the entire league. Yes, every single team, even the Eagles, had an opportunity to get him. They would have had to trade up. They were moving around every 5 seconds anyway, like how he does. So everyone had an opportunity. I don't know if the MRI was just too inconsequential, and I think that is one place that sometimes teams get in trouble with, because the point of the combine is for everybody to have the same results, right? So that they have a singular opinion that they can double down to. If whatever that opinion was, and I have not seen the report, I don't know anyone that has. If we find that, I would love to know. If you're listening out there, if it was like murky or we don't know or inconceivable that he would be 100% eventually, I can see the whole league going, well, it's too risky for us. And then it would take a second opinion, a physician on staff that you're tied to make you feel like, oh, wait, no, I looked at it and I feel good about it. You guys should go for this. This is where I think is a reasonable investment. Clearly, the Chiefs are the only team that felt a first round investment was a reasonable one after review.
And they've probably been the same medical person for Trey Smith and him. Like I
Yep,
would imagine it's been the same person they go to.
That's a very, very good point. Jordan, how much will the offense open up with better tackle play? And can they overcome the stale offense the last 2 years? I mean, how much is a relative term, but yes, they can definitely overcome. What would you call it?
So there was, I'm going to find it while I'm talking to you guys.
Okay.
There was one of the analytic charts put up a few days ago where it was, I believe it was quick pressures allowed by offensive lines. It's going to take me a few minutes to find it because it was a few days ago at this point. But I can tell you right now that Patrick Mahomes, when the time is actually there, will be able to get the ball down the field. But he was able to take the Chiefs to a Super Bowl with pressures that don't usually happen. I can't find it at the moment, but regardless, like that's the thing, is that the quick pressures, they were getting worse and worse over the past couple of seasons. Last year, they were worse than they've ever been. And it was among the worst in the league in terms of quick pressures. That's usually denoted by anything under 2.5 seconds. So just think how long it takes for receivers to get down the field, right? It takes guys, it's a 40-yard dash is 4 seconds, right? If we're thinking about a 40-yard dash is 4 seconds, all right, so that means let's think about this in a 20-yard, right? If we want to throw the ball down the field 20, 30 yards, it takes 2-3 seconds, right? If you can't actually get the receivers out in the route and you can't throw the football because you've got pressure in your face in 2.5 or less seconds, no one can throw the football down the field because you can't anticipate a window that doesn't even exist yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're going to just come in and be better at throwing the ball down the field. Patrick has to get better too. When it's there, he has missed multiple times. Trust in the offensive line, trust in himself, and trust in his receivers. I think we can see that happen.
I agree with you. I'm crossing my fingers because you have the horses now to run. It was a combination the last 2 years of ineffectual play at 2 positions that cost you. You've gotten one of those straightened out, and it looks like you're on your way to fixing the other. So that's a double-edged sword that's cutting for you, not against you, right?
Yep.
Brad, you guys did the late live stream late. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's all on me. That is not Dan's fault. He was ready to go at normal time, and I was not. But he wanted to ask you, Dan, would you sign Christian Wilkinson to come to Kansas City if he is a scheme fit or not really?
All right, so there's a lot of this right now. One from Bradley. We got another one here from Doug
Right.
about the whole Christian Wilkins release. We also had one just now from Micah. So I'm going to answer all 3 at the same time because that's the most efficient path. So first and foremost, not signing Christian Wilkins. Anything to do with his foot having to be resurged, probably have to be rebroken to be fixed in the first place, having more problems with it, having to get 3rd and 4th opinions on it. And the fact that he wasn't able to come into this year ready to play, it's a no-go for me. a guy who's 300 plus pounds having a foot issue, it's a no-go. I don't want anything to do with it, much like offensive linemen and back injuries. I don't want anything to do with it. Now, we don't know the real story because Pat McAfee is a loudmouth, and anything he hears, he's just going to talk about it on ESPN.
Yep.
What he's saying and what he was told is that if he went to, you guys remember remember the Titans when Sunshine kisses Bertier jokingly, right? They're saying that Wilkins went to kiss one of his teammates in a joking manner. He didn't take well to it. And that was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Okay. You don't release a player for that stuff. It's Max Crosby, and he's threatening to request or to force a trade, which I guarantee you didn't happen. So, no, I don't believe that that's the issue that stemmed the actual release. I think it's the injury and the fact that Christian Wilkins was like, yo, I want my money and I want you guys to guarantee it. And I want to be able to basically rest the rest of the season and you guys, I'll play next year. No, the Raiders said, no, we're not doing that. So bye-bye.
I agree with you. I think it is the injury as well. And I am concerned for him. Now, that said, I would not sign him today, but I would have already had a conversation with him, because if it is either a surgical fix or a rehab fix, he is a veteran. Let's be real. And the reputation of the Raiders is such that maybe some veterans don't feel like they have to push as hard as they do elsewhere in the league. If he were to get that right and the foot is playable, then I would consider it, because you guys heard me talk about before the Raiders gave him that contract that he is a scheme fit. He is somebody who can come in and help Chris Jones. He can get to the passer. He does stop the run. He can do all those things if healthy. So I won't rule it out. And maybe that means an October signing, or maybe that means next off season. We'll just find out. But in terms of what he is capable of doing on the field if healthy, it absolutely is a fit. He would be a 3-down player. It would stunt Omar Norman Lott's development a little bit, but it would also give them valuable depth. And at this point, as much as Omar's getting some kudos here, much like we gave him after the draft, I still don't understand that. We'll get to that in a second. I do still think that they need more than they have in front of Omar currently, because I don't want Mike Pennell to have to hold the candle all season. I don't know that he can at his age. So you want to have Mike fresh in December. Jerry Tillery, I was pretty happy that he'd be in a rotation when he got in here. People were worried. It seems there's still mixed emotions on it. So still want some depth there. And if it slows a little bit for Omar, I'm okay with that now. It just can't be a long-term contract or a guy that has to be here on a 4-year ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's got to be someone that can be a rotational defensive player. And that's not what Christian Wilkins is going to want either. So it's a long road to hoe in that situation when you have a guy who's getting a lot of praise, rightfully so, who has a lot of upside that's developing before your eyes, and you willfully stunt his growth. That's what you would do.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is out there. I want to get to the super chats here before we get too long on the tooth, because I am slow as all get out. Clinton, thank you. Could you get a 6th for Josh Williams? Probably not a 5th. I don't think so. I don't think you can get anything for Joshua Williams unless it's like a swap of another player that maybe hasn't fulfilled their upside.
That's what I'm going for. Like, you're looking for a UDFA guy, kind of player that you had a higher grade on that you might be able to trade for. Because again, Josh Simmons, regardless of how he's played for this team lately, does have starting experience and might be a fit somewhere else.
Absolutely. Shipwreck, thank you, pal. Appreciate you. I feel Josh Simmons' big hurdle will probably be the recovery from the gameplay, and you nailed it, dude. Because we talk about it every year. There's OTA level, then there's camp level, then there's preseason game level, then there's holy crap, I got to play a regular season game. And if you are lucky enough, you get that far. It's like, oh hell, now how do I play a playoff game? They all get progressively harder, and recovery from that first gameplay. And I would say probably, given that they're going to limit his reps in the preseason, recover from the first regular season gameplay, I think will likely be the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It makes perfect sense. We got to see what it looks like, guys. The preseason, he's probably not going to get enough run for it to really be tested.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Thank you, Clinton. Thank you, Ship. Appreciate you, Nick. Thank you, pal. Very generous of you on a night when
Thank you,
I'm
Nick.
super late. So thank you. I know you guys are very busy, but I want to thank you guys for giving us content still. That being said, what is your idea of a good season for this draft class? I mean, personally, it'd be one where we're not talking about who didn't play. If everybody can contribute in this draft class, I would be absolutely like silly happy.
That's a realistic possibility. But I think the top 5 guys you drafted, getting rotational use out of them, maybe you see a couple develop into starters like that. We're talking about that being a realistic expectation. I think you could see Noah Williams starting. You could see Omar Norman Lott starting next to Chris Jones. You could see Jalen Rose be a real part of this rotation at wide receiver. He's already doing a great job at camp. And again, the mental part that Matt Nagy has been talking about. Like there's Josh Simmons playing the entire season at left tackle. Like there's a lot of development here and a lot of possibilities for guys to play real roles.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, sky's the limit. We're going to see how it progresses through camp, and we'll have a better idea at that point. Nick, thank you for always being here, and thank you for the support. We appreciate you. Tim, what's one player on offense and one player on defense that you're looking forward to seeing the most outside of the top name stars? Yeah. The list is long. What do you got?
Kingsley at left guard. I want to see him take to this development, take to this new position, use the intangibles that he has at tackle, and maximize them as a guard. I want to see that happen very well because, again, we're talking about a possibility of having your left side completely from center to left tackle solidified for the future. Like this could legitimately happen this season. So that's something that needs to happen. On the defensive side, it's FAU. I gotta see. I got something. I gotta see something, guys. Like this is the Chiefs have willingly stunted his growth. Not getting real reps, not getting true starting opportunities has stunted his growth. When you're not out there learning, you're not out there getting real reps against other tackles, there's not much you can do about it. So I need to see a little bit more play from him this year. Otherwise, I'm gonna be real mad. I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, man. And like you said, there's no way to recover from that. You can't progress if you're not getting pushed. On offense, the guy that I'm really intrigued by right now is what can be done. Noah Gray's been a bit player to this point. He's been a guy that is an emergency valve that will make some big plays for you in crunch times. But if they really are, at least in 11 on 11 yesterday, they were cycling Travis on and off. There's scenarios here where they are inside the red zone and Travis Kelce isn't on the field. I don't think that's realistic. I think that's more between the 20s, but there are possibilities here. And if Noah, at one point, I guess Matt said he got like 4 or 5 targets in a row because the play was designed with the tight end in mind and it wasn't Travis on the field. If Noah can consistently do that, the 1-2 punch could take a bigger step forward and we might not see what I was anticipating as the drop off with Trev not on the field.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
not.
we're just looking at.
This is Dan being nice, like he does not agree with this.
No, it's Noah Gray, and you guys know how I feel. I think he's a really good too. So we'll see. Who do you got for the defensive side?
Oh, honestly, and you guys are gonna laugh at me. I want to see Bossa. Like, I know Leo's making interceptions. I think Trank looks like he's slimmed down some. I haven't seen any good footage of his speed and space this year versus last yet. We'll see how that goes. But I think Bossa is a guy that could play any role at any time. And you're going to have some attrition with the age of Trank and Bolton, and that they both had, some gotten banged up, whatever. At their age, that's more. So I just want to see if they cannot skip a beat at the second level.
It's fair. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun season.
On a scale 1 to 10, 1 being no concern, 10 being dire, how concerned are you with the Fulton situation? Caroline, thank you. I did get your text and I have to get back to you. I'm sorry, I've been traveling. I'm sitting at a flat 5 right now. Like I was maybe a 2 when camp started, but now it's going up.
Yeah, it's starting to get to the point where he's not getting on the field and getting into shape for the preseason. It's going to be tough, especially with other guys out there. So it's a little concerning. He's got 2 years on the contract, so 2 years guaranteed, right? It's 3 years, but 2 years guaranteed. So it's Yeah, that's the right thing. So it's going to be hard for him to get on the field if he can't actually get off of the pup. So I know it was a cleanup, and there was a question earlier about what a cleanup is. Just going and taking out scar tissue, open up the range of motion with your knee. Sometimes even if you do your rehab right, the scar tissue lingers if you can't get it all out of there. So that's probably mostly what that was, and hopefully he can get back on the field soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I got my fingers crossed because I think that is definitely part of the plan. Thoughts on how before Omar Norman got injured, people said he looked the part. I I think that's just revisionist history. He looked the part before he was drafted. We saw that on there. That's why we had him placed really directly where he went because he can rush the passer. And in this league, yes, I know you have to be able to do it all. You know, I, for one, want somebody that can play all downs, but this is a
Mhm.
passing league still, and we knew he could do this. I think he didn't practice today, as I understood. Am I right?
No, he was at practice today.
Okay, okay. I was on a plane most of the day, so I was trying to figure that out. I think looking the part and playing the part are two different things. It feels like they're still feeding him like a heavy dosage of snaps. But if he and Jerry in particular can just rotate and Mike can play first down, have his fun, which I think Mike Pennell enjoys stopping the
Yeah.
run, especially in the AFC West, because everyone's going to run at you. And those guys can fill in the gaps. Like I feel better than I did a week ago.
That's all you can really hope for, right? Again, I think he can develop into more. You guys, again, the whole video that I did on Omar Norman shows that there's upside in every single phase, which is what you're looking for. So if he can continue to bring more and develop that and learn from Mike Pennell, like this is a good situation for him to be in. Tweaking stuff in camp is normal. And again, the Chiefs so far have been pretty lucky. And that's, if you look around the league, not everyone is. So just
Right.
continuing to get out there, getting those reps and getting those soft tissues accustomed to what you're going to be dealing with is very important. And right now, I think that's just more about getting used to it than anything.
I think he'll be all right. And I think that this ramp up phase that they're being more demonstrative about this year is
Yeah.
a smart idea. A couple from Swag here. Do you guys see Tyquan Thornton making the team? He's been standing out. Yeah, he was right on the edge. I think he'll make the team initially. As I said, he's probably my seventh wide receiver. And when I say make the team, it's because they have to have Rasheed on the roster, I believe, on cutdown day, and then they can put him to short-term IR or the suspension hits. One of the two. Sorry, confused my topics there. If he gets the suspension and squeeze 1 through 4, I do believe that exempts him. But if not, they would have to have someone on short-term IR to do the rotation, right? So if there's a seventh, I think it's Taekwon right now. I don't see anybody else really standing out, despite them giving Sky Moore some first team reps, which caught me a little off guard to tell you the truth. But if Rasheed is unsuspended or we don't have a decision by cutdown day, do you think that they can afford to take 7, or do you think Taekwon's in the top 6 already?
Yeah, I do. That's the thing is I was expecting him to make the roster now because Nico has been the main punt returner. It does kind of throw a wrench into it with that. So because there might be uncertainty at the cutdown day, that's the only reason they would keep 7 in my mind. If because I don't think you're getting Taekwon onto the practice squad, someone's going to come scoop him up specifically because of what he's been doing in training camp, and that's
Right.
whether right or wrong, it is the name of the game. So again, that's what I was going to click on Dan here as well. That's the reason that you might see 7 is because if we're getting down to week 1 and Rasheed Rice still is not suspended, I think they probably have to keep 7 just because Taekwon's not making it on your practice squad, and you're not going to want the 8th guy have to be brought up in that situation, which would likely be Sky Moore.
Yeah, yeah, and I really like what Taekwon brings. You saw it in bits and pieces earlier before he was chief, and I know everybody was down on him because he didn't get time last year, but it's starting to come around. And I thought from what I read of Tobes, I didn't watch Dave Tobes' uh, comments. I read them, but
Yeah.
the way that I read it, Nico's the returner. Like it's done. I don't
Yeah.
see competition there. So I had Nico as 6 and Taekwon as a 7th, pushing to be on there, and it still feels like that. I don't think Juju's going anywhere. I don't think they're ready to relinquish another vet just for the fear of attrition.
Now, This could bring up an interesting trade scenario, though,
Hmm.
with Juju Smith-Schuster. If there is a wide receiver needy team out there for a veteran specific team, I don't know, maybe the um, there's a couple of teams out there, but like the Titans, I know Tyler Lockett is there, but they don't have like a possession veteran in there. And maybe you see that, but there might be a team that you might be able to trade Juju Smith Schuster with. Now, they love him. That's very obvious that he's kind of a glue guy there too. So I'm still expecting him to be on the roster, and I want him to be on the roster, honestly. But that could be a situation where we have like 7 or 8 receivers that we feel good about, and Juju, we like Juju, but we'd be okay trading.
Oh, I hope not. And rip Traylon Burke's career. If you guys were around for that draft, you know
Yeah,
how I thought he was absolutely overdrafted. I think I had him as a day 3 prospect. I can't say that it's his fault because I think the injuries have been more harmful
for
to his
sure.
career than anything else. But man, they certainly need receivers in Tennessee, and you got a buddy down there that you might want to help out too. So I like the connection that you brought up. That is a possibility in my eyes. Rather start more at right tackle. I'm tired of Taylor. Annoyed at him. I get that. People are in that. He is exciting, Hunter. Thank you for the question. We mentioned Noel. We mentioned Omar. Who else have we not mentioned? I must
Not
be
much about
forgetting.
Gelati. He's not. He hasn't been really in the news.
No,
Um,
and from my guys that are at camp that I will ping about their opinion. He does look good in terms of bringing his Louisville game to the NFL. He is working his hands. He is getting there, but his power is not effective at this point against these tackles that have experience or are just better prospects in Simmons. I still feel he'll get there. I'm still positive on him, but um, he's going to have to develop. It's not a done deal.
yeah, that was the thing. Like the speed to power, just it wasn't NFL caliber. It wasn't. So
Yeah.
hopefully he can develop that.
It's gonna, or he's just gonna have to rely on the speed. He's gonna have to be able to execute it better because his hands are quick and he does have a good first step. Pretty excited watching the cornerback room and receiving room will be really competitive, and they will only help each other if they continue to be competitive. That is absolutely the goal. Rachel, thank you for making it late. Sorry it was so late. I appreciate you being around. Uh, Swag. Do you guys think the Chiefs will be motivated? They have been so successful for so long. The hunger can go away. I hope them getting embarrassed about the Super Bowl motivates them. Love the show, by the way. Well, thank you, Swag, and thank you for all the
Thank you.
great questions all the time. I kind of feel like this, but where are you sitting?
I think that it's always hard to find extra motivation, right? It's that you got to find different ways, and I think that's why some people, when they talk about, well, I kind of shut out social media and stuff like that. I think you do kind of need it for just a professional athlete, just every now and then, just to listen to something that someone says that is stupid, but it's still like people still want to doubt. Like there are still people out there who doubt what he can do. Another thing that we saw, I don't think this matters, by the way, but you can bet your ass Patrick Mahomes is going to make a reference to it at some point this year where he didn't make the 99 club on Madden. Okay.
Yep.
Well, guess what? That's just another thing you can put in the back of the thing there just to, you know, it's going to be something. That's why Tom Brady was Tom Brady. He found ways to create storylines for the team. We've heard him interview say everyone counted us out, called us underdogs when nobody did, but there was probably 1 or 2 people that did, and he found those things and he showed it to the team. That's what it's about. It's about finding those things to kick you up. They can be professional, but there's a reason that Patrick can be petty Patrick or all these other things because he pays attention, he listens, but it's about playing, and he knows how to attribute it properly.
I completely agree with you. Like the littlest thing can be the difference for him in particular, and that trickles down to the whole team. Goat, nice to see you. Going to camp on Sunday. What should I look for? Also, do the players do a lot of signings? I'm going to the one with the whole team for signings. They generally do. I think the team and the coaches encourage it, and I think they do a great job. I would be in position by the time you got about 30 minutes left in camp if you really want to get one, just in case it's a total crush. I like to hang out on the corner if for people that are doing that, but that would be my suggestion. What I would look for in terms of players is I want to see more of what I saw from Charles Menahue and Simmons as well. That's probably the number one matchup I'm looking for. I don't think you're going to get much of George on him. You could, if so, wonderful. I'm also watching the first step from both Norman Lott and Gelati, and I want to see just exactly how Jalen Watson is staying in phase with who. I had a report, somebody pinged me and said that he ran multiple routes against X, or X ran routes against him, and he was able to turn and run with him and stick with him. Now, I don't know if that's Xavier just not like going 100% or what happened, but that took me aback. So I would definitely track that.
Just look at what you want to look at. You find the if you want to watch the defensive lineman, go watch defensive lineman. Have fun. Like, you don't have to. I'm not trying to like tell people like not to do stuff, but go find what you want to do. I typically stay away from the stands. If you're looking onto the field on the right hand side, they get packed, and it's just not. It's not comfortable for me specifically. I can't get as close as to the stuff that I want to watch, but just find what you want to watch. At the very, very back end is usually more wide receiver stuff early on, and then I stay on the hill for like team drills, and I get to watch some of those. But go have fun, enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you just find something you want to watch and watch it,
Yeah. Just take it to it. Bradley, nice. Thanks for another question. I heard some good news from Fulton, close to coming back and putting Connor back at safety. Do not put him in the nickel anymore. Yeah, I mean, they got to figure out that rotation as well. And if Fulton is close to coming back, I think that's a good thing. We have to remember, Christian Fulton has never, and I mean never, in his 5 seasons, played a complete season. Never, ever. Last year was the only one that was less than 10 games. He did get cut pretty short, but 15, 12, 11, and 13. So, like, he's going to give you 3/4 to 90% of a season. I don't know historically if it's been soft tissue problems or if there's something else going on there, but that actually gives me a little bit more background that makes me feel slightly better that this is something that he's dealt with before in terms of like not always being able to play a full season.
Yeah.
Oh, there went my monitor again. Come on. Come back.
Again?
Love me. Okay. Okay. I need Andy to stomp teams this year. Swag from your lips. Stop with the vanilla BS on offense and play calling. Also, I hope he lets Pat off the leash. Let him do what he wants. It's time. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask from Patrick. There's nothing else that he has to learn, in my opinion. I don't think that there's any training wheels left. So I agree with the second part. And I wish he would listen to you on the first. What do you think about the off the leash part?
I just, at the same time, like, I know we want to let Patrick off the leash, but if he can't stay in the pocket for 2.5 seconds, there's no leash. There's only a leash. Sorry, there's only a leash. Like, there's nothing he can do about that. And the reason that the Chiefs went to the yards after catch and get the ball out quickly approach is specifically because they could not stand in the pocket for longer than that and throw the ball down the field. They couldn't do it. So you have to adjust. And it may be vanilla, it may be all that other stuff. Got him to a Super Bowl because Patrick knew how to make the right decisions. And then when it came to third down, he was still the best quarterback in the NFL. So I understand it. This is on the offensive line now. This is not on Patrick, it's not on Andy. It's on the offensive line now.
And it's got to be a group. And I think the re-signing of Trey really, really pushes that forward in terms of having that core that can pull everybody else and keep everybody else accountable. It's pretty impressive what I think they're going to be able to do. Thanks, Swag. Thank you, Nikki. I forgot that you were moving, where you're moving to, Dan. Where are you divulging your location at this point? Top secret?
The Dayton area of Ohio. That's where we'll be living for the next 1.5 years, and then I don't know where after that. But it's not going to be a very long stay. This one.
Ohio. And yeah, the new house. Nikki, I must have had a bad telemetry there that first day because it turns out The new house is only about 100 foot different from the old house. I'm up over 9,000 foot elevation here in the mountains in Colorado, and at that point, it really doesn't make any difference, to tell you the truth. The air's damn thin. That's all I can tell you. Thanks, though, Nikki. Kyle, nice to see you. Weekly check on Ryan's camp plans and go. Right now, it is looking like more likely after the second preseason game. I don't have the dates in front of me because we have recently gotten tied up in something else that we're going to have to follow up on as a family. So working on that, but I will let you guys know as it goes. And I know, Dan, you're not going to be able to make it because the life is in the way this year, and that's okay. We're still going to have it for you, whether we're there together or separately or not at all, whatever. We'll have it all broken down for you because we have enough folks that are there for us, being our eyes and ears, that we'll be able to update you as we need to. So don't worry about that. But Kyle, thank you for asking. Hanneman, thoughts on Gillette? And then he said, I think he told me to ignore this one because we kind of covered it already.
Yeah,
Slower start for him, but as a bit player, we'll see where he grows into. I still have faith. Do you guys see anything on defensive line from the depth chart that you have seen any standout in training camp? I heard, I didn't actually get to listen to the show, but I guess Nick Jacobs said something about Fabian starting to come around. Have you seen anything on Fabian in particular?
No, not one thing. But again,
Okay.
it's I'm out of practice, so I can't know, and no one else is even mentioning it. So they're probably not watching Fabian Levitt very closely.
Probably not, but there are a few people that pay close attention, and we will keep doing it. And again, shout out to Lyle Grimson for the snap that he got. That certainly did help us tonight. Chance that we get back into top 5 sacks this season.
I mean, they were down last year, two seasons in a row where they were in the top 3, top 2. I think there's always a good chance when you got Chris Jones and C. Spagnuolo dialing things up to get back in the top 5.
Yeah, there's absolutely a chance. Top 5, I don't know. They would have to stay healthy with this group, and there would have to be production. So I'm going to put it at 25%. Is my
Ooh, 25. I'd probably be closer to 50.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I hope you're right. Update on Noel. Did we already cover this one? Connor getting burdened
Kind of.
every
I
camp
think
for
we already
highlight
kind of
XP.
talked about Noel.
Yeah, and I heard Rasheed beat Connor up pretty bad in one-on-ones, right?
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense. Addicted. 2-part question. If Felix can take a huge step, and he hopes that he can, what is the ceiling for the defensive line? And also, who leads the team in sacks? What is an acceptable for each guy? What do you think?
I mean, the ceiling is it can be a complete defensive line. You have Chris Jones, you'll have GK, who is again a good late winner, effort winner, and then if Felix can actually become who he is, win off the line with speed, quickness, and some speed to power and extension, we're talking about a complete defensive line. Especially if you add in a little bit of Jerry Tillery with Omar Noman Lot. Like there's a lot that they can actually do from a defensive line perspective. I'm not gonna talk about Chris Jones right here in terms of leading the team in sacks because it's going to be Chris Jones. But the next guy is still probably going to be GK in terms of 9. I think he's going to get to 9 again this year. Hopefully 10. It'd be great to have another double-digit sack season for him. But there is no what is acceptable for each guy. I'm more of how many pressures are you generating, how quickly are you winning, and when you get close, are you closing? I don't necessarily care about what's acceptable. Let's just talk about what are you doing to impact the quarterback. And if you're not doing anything, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, fair enough. You got to pull your oar, and from what I understand, Chris Jones is pushing people pretty hard. You got to be able to respond to that. And as long as
Yeah.
you're keeping Chris happy, I think we're all going to be pretty happy. Luis, thank you. Is Sky Moore done in KC? And if so, who are you guys taking? I don't have him making the roster right now for the 3 starters: Bryce, Worthy, Hollywood, Juju, Royals, and then would be right now, in order to return punts, Nico Remigio. If you did go to 7, Taekwon, do you see differently?
No, I don't see it any differently. Honestly, I wish it would have worked out for Sky, but chances are that it's far more likely that these guys are going to end up not being as contributing as you want them to. far more often than not in terms of draft picks. So it sucks, but that's the NFL, man.
Yeah. Everybody's different. Maybe a new team helps. Micah, thank you. What's your guys' thoughts on people saying the Chiefs get bailed out by the refs and Chiefs-related combos? They're getting really annoying with me leaving Colorado and beefing up with the idiots on the net. Yeah, walk away from it, Micah. That's all I can tell you. Especially out here, you're going to get that all the time. And I just started to agree with him. I'm like, yeah, because they never get called for anything. There's never any holdings. No one ever jumps off sides. So yeah, the refs are totally in their pockets. It's a conspiracy, and I walk away.
Just stay off the internet, man. Like if you can't, I'm not trying to be mean about it, Micah, but if you can't not engage, stay away from it.
Yeah.
You have to learn to ignore that stuff because there will never be anything that you can say that will make them believe you because they
Right.
don't care about believing you. They care about believing the conspiracy. And that's all that matters to them. So just ignore them.
They had their answer before they walked into the conversation.
Correct.
All right, last couple here, and we'll wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys for being with us so late, and thank you, Dan, for staying up way later than me. I hope Avery's still asleep. Where are the RBs at? Really don't like Hunt outside of short yardage carries at this point in his career. Fair. Is Mitchell's injury history keeping him from taking the RB2 spot? I would not say that. I think they'll give Kareem more opportunity than they will Elijah at first. I think Elijah's more of a third down role specific at this point.
I think, honestly, I think Mitchell's going to have an opportunity if he is fully healthy to get more carries. We'll see if he continues to do that, but he's got to show that first, right? He's been getting, I think he's been pretty steadily third in the pecking order. Hunt and Pacheco have been rotating back and forth in terms of the amount they get every day, but this is going to be a rotational running back room. There is no one person that's going to get a ton more than everybody else. But situationally, they can all be valuable. And I think that's what this running back room looks like. And at the end of the day, if you're giving Kareem Hunt all the short yardage stuff and all of the goal line stuff, I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that if you can find ways to make Elijah Mitchell, Bashard Smith useful on third down and then mix in everybody else a little bit more on first and obvious rundowns too. Just be more unpredictable. Get more casual with how you're doing it with Mitchell and Pacheco and Smith. Even if you have to have a system for everybody, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Mix it up. Keep defenses on their heels. That's where I'm at. We'll wrap it up with Hanneman. Thank you, sir. People say Mahomes never had a great deep ball after trading Hill, but he had 47% adjusted completion rate of 20-yard plus passes in 2022. What changed? Yeah, those receivers. He did have something with DeMarcus Robinson, right? That they had a connection. It worked. I don't know how better to describe it, honestly. But then the protection failed, and then he couldn't get to the guys that he needed to have those 20-yard plus passes. Would they fall off? I thought they fell off like just the attempts at 20 plusers fell off like 60% from 22 to 23, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And that's when you saw the offensive line start to fall apart. That was the last year they had Orlando Brown Jr. Even though Orlando Brown Jr. is not a great left tackle, he was more than competent enough to be a steady presence there on the left side and get Patrick more time to play out there. And then 2023 comes around, and we're talking about Donovan Smith and Wanya Morris. And last year we saw what that was. It comes back to one point. The offensive line can play better, can give him more time. I think that he'll have more trust in the deep ball. And even though, it was MBS and it was Juju Smith-Schuster in 2022 as well. Like we're in Justin Watson. Like these are still the same guys that Patrick has thrown to from there to 2023. And we see Juju back this year, last year. There's far more talent in the wide receiver room though. Like there's far more talent now. It can't be about the receivers anymore. It can't be about just Patrick missing everything. It has to be about the trust in the offensive line and giving them time to let these plays develop.
Yeah. 21, it was 76 attempts of 20 plusers for Patrick Mahomes. Last year, 54. So literally cut by 50%. So it's just the time to throw that is the issue. But that could all be changing right now. Let's hope that it continues to, and let's hope that Dan can get some sleep and take himself out of the sequestered area where no one can hear him. Thank you, dude. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. We had to make sure you guys got caught up on the day and appreciate 300 of you guys being here with us tonight. Multiple, I'm sure more throughout the stream. It's always fun to do late night stuff. And I'm glad you guys were here. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's going to be. I'll try to be on time next week, folks. But thank you for being with us. And we'll either do. I may set up a live stream for tomorrow night. I may just give you my rookie rundown and check in with that, and we'll get back onto the train here. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.